The opinions and views expressed by individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the same as this network, their groups, or other organizations they may be involved with.
Let's all go into pot, whether we like it or not. Best I can tell, the world's gone to hell, and I'm sure gonna miss it a lot. All the whiskey in Lynchburg, Tennessee, just couldn't fill the spot. I got $100 bill, man, you can keep your pills, man. It's all going to pot. It's all going to pot, whether we like it or not. Best I can tell, the world's gone to hell, and we're sure gonna miss it a lot. All the whiskey in Lynchburg, Tennessee, just couldn't fill the spot. I got $100 bill, man, you can keep your pills, man. It's all going to pot. I got $100 bill, man, you can keep your pills, man. It's all going to pot.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Peace, News, and Views here on the NOK Network. We are patients everywhere advocating cannabis evolution with me, Kim Cooper, and my awesome joint host, Siir SteveO in the house. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. I turned 53 yesterday.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, feeling good. And, I'm kind of tired from swimming and doing some things in the heat yesterday, but nobody can be as tired as you with the Stoner Games coming up tomorrow.
Yeah. Gates open tomorrow at noon for campers to come and set up. Now, we don't have any festivities or event stuff taking place tomorrow.
Right.
Tomorrow is still part of my workday setup. So you will be, watching us doing the finishing touches on getting the event space prepared.
Yeah.
The stage was installed today, and the lights are up and all of that good stuff. So yeah, some more finishing prep work and stuff tomorrow. But campers are welcome to come tomorrow and set up, because we do start off on Friday with a full day's event on Friday. So some people like to come the day before so that they can get up in the morning. They're already here. Their travel is taken care of. Now they're rested. Yeah. They get up in the morning and it's like, all right, I'm here. I'm ready. Let's do this. Right. Sure. So we invite everybody to come on the 10th, and that's what tomorrow basically is arrival of the early birds that are all prepped and ready to go.
Sure. And then you'll have some extra hands on deck in case you need it, to get some things done perhaps. So
yes.
That'd be great.
I know my ladies are coming early,
Oh, the girls are coming, are they? Okay.
Yeah, my ladies are coming early, and they'll be here to, chop the vegetables and get the fruit salads ready, and all of the munchy stuff, all of the foods, all the food prep. My food prep crew.
Yeah, for sure. And then you got Ron, of course, coming to help with network stuff and everything.
Yeah, he's coming with his mobile studio in tow. Converted the back of his van to a mobile studio. He's got 3 computer screens back there, and he's got hard drives and transformers and everything else going on back there. He's got a full-on studio converted the entire back of his van.
That's right. He can sit in the air condition and do his thing.
Yeah. Very cool stuff. So yeah, we got lots going on here for the Stoner Games Cup this year, and of course, we have the Stoner Olympics on Saturday, which is always a hell of a lot of fun, and it's great for a laugh. And our non-consumer audience has non-consumer games that we have in between races for them. And I got some doozies planned for our non-consumers. They're going to give us consumers a good fucking laugh too. So while they're laughing out all the stoners falling over, we'll be laughing right back at them in between games, So it's going to be fun-filled day with lots of fun going on here at the Stoner Games. And then, of course, at the conclusion of the races is the awards ceremony. And that's when we announce the winners of the cup. So for 30 days prior to this weekend, our judges were judging entries in the Cannabis Cup portion of the event. So 30 days she's had to judge the entries, 52 entries this year, and you had 30 days to judge them all and get the votes in. Votes are in, votes are tabulated, and we do have the results of the votes. And we will be announcing the winners of first place winners in each category at the Stoner Games at the conclusion of the races. And we will be, anybody that's here that entered will receive their prize and their trophy at the games.
Excellent. Yeah. And the prizes this year are, actually, I don't mean the prizes, but the trophy awards themselves. Yeah. Beautiful. Major upgrade this year.
Yeah. Beautiful custom trophies. So you'll be able to display that in your shop or, at your markets where you sell your wares. So nice something to take home and be proud of, give you some bragging rights. You are the best. We asked you to show us the best, and we're going to tell you who the judges feel is the best in each category.
Well, good luck.
Yeah. It's going to be good. It's going
to be fantastic. and who's no stranger to doing Cannabis Cup contests is our guest tonight.
That's right. We had a little chat prior to the show starting, and it's what I said. I said, yeah, pulling my hair out right now, crazy busy. I said, but you get it. And I know he does.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I think it's time to bring him in. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Joining us on Peace, Views, and News tonight is our guest, Nathan Marsh. Please join me in welcoming him to the show. Welcome, Nathan.
How's it going, guys?
Hi.
Hello.
Good.
It's great to have you. Thank you for coming tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. No, for having me on.
Yeah, for sure. Nathan, I stumbled across, I think it was a social media site, and
Sure.
it was something about a Missouri Cup. Recently, yeah. I had the privilege and the honor of having a wonderful visit to the state of Missouri, and I mean, I had the best time. So I've kind of fallen a little bit in love with Missouri. Okay. So I've been exploring stuff Missouri. All things Missouri. And I came across a site about the Missouri Growers Cup. Yeah. And so I sent a message. I said, hey, somebody want to talk to me about this? And that's how I met you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and I'm we've been doing Cannabis Cups since 2015. And this is our third year doing the Missouri Growers Cup, but we're actually based out of Oregon. I definitely fell in love with Missouri as well. The Ozarks are amazing, and they've got some really cool grower communities there, and just people that are trying. I mean, I always look at it as a state. In Oregon, each state gets their civil rights at a different time, and so for Oregon, we got ours in 2015, or even before with medical. But Missouri is kind of freshly unchained from the prohibition. So yeah, it's been awesome to kind of help propagate the culture out there.
Absolutely. I love the state, and finding out more about you.
Sure.
It made me more intrigued. Just a quick timeout. Awesome, Ellie. I'll see you in the morning. It's cool to me that I would meet you and come to know what you've got going on, which is so friggin' much, through, again, something through the state of Missouri. I mean, I have, so you have no idea how many connections I've made with people from all over the place, but it all had something to do with my trip to Missouri.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, wow. And it's just really, it seems to be a snowball effect that's happening. And it's like, wow, through Missouri, and it's all because of Missouri, right? So it makes me love Missouri even more. Let's go back to your roots. Let's go back to the beginning. You're originally in Oregon, right? And what you got. So
Well,
how did you get started in all this?
Yeah, I'll try to make the story quick, but I'm going to be 49 this year, 50 the next year. But I started my cannabis kind of activism when I was 16, and I was living in actually Denver, Colorado, and my dad died drunk driving, and I was really, cannabis helped me get through it, but it also really made me fired up that people didn't have access to this, but alcohol is everywhere, and but here I am, watching families be destroyed, my father dying from alcohol, and anyway, so it really kind of jump started my activism. And then I moved to Seattle and was living in Washington, and went to some of the the earlier well, I should say they I can't say early because they had been doing it so long, but the Seattle Hemp Fest, and I got licensed in 2015. I was part of a nonprofit and living in Oregon at that time, but I basically joined up with John SteveO, who was the guy that got was head of the nonprofit that got medical marijuana for Oregon in '98. And then in 2015, it was becoming legalized, and I was part of a nonprofit with him, and we decided to start the Oregon Hemp Fest and got licensed with Seattle. And then I started doing the Oregon Growers Cup. That nonprofit ended up fizzling out, mainly because our county opted out for legal grows, which was another long story. But basically, at that point, I kind of in 2015 took it on as my mission, and then started doing cannabis cups, the Cannabis Cup here in Oregon in 2015. And we just had our 10th year last year. This will be our 11th year. And then several years ago, we started branching out into other states like Missouri, New Mexico, and then we're also doing our first Coachella Valley in California, Coachella Legacy Cup in October this year. So we'll be in 4 states, and which is a lot as an event company. Having one every quarter is quite a bit.
That's amazing.
Plus, we have a fest here, so yeah.
And just with crossing state lines, like the logistics that go with that. Oh my fucking God!
State lines, but the weed doesn't. That's the thing, is that each cup is basically for the state, because you like you said, you can't have weed crossing. We've had people say, hey, since you guys are one of the biggest cannabis cups in the United States, you guys should do a 50 state cup or something. But that would be required. I mean, you'd have to. I guess you could do it in each state, and then some of them aren't legal, so that wouldn't work either. Yeah, exactly.
It'd be 50 separate events.
Yeah, it has to be a separate event.
50 different legal issues. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the logistics behind something like that would be just a nightmare.
Yeah. Agreed.
Oh my God. Of course, I'm in Canada. You two are both in the United States, so very different schematics of what's going on. I'm hosting a cup here as well. But for me, we have nationwide legalization. Every household is allowed to grow 4 plants. So that's what my cup is based on. It's your home grow, right?
Oh, okay. So you don't everybody deal with at all?
No, this is not anything to do with the legal market. There is nothing that's for sale in the legal market.
Grassroots.
It's all grassroots. 100% grassroots. We've got our right to extract that was given to us by the courts. We've got our right to grow. Every household is allowed to grow 4 plants. So the patient and the home grower community produce some pretty fucking cool products.
Yeah,
so that's what this is all about for my cup is the home grower.
Sure. Yeah. We've found, we started as predominantly a home grow event, but a lot of the people involved in the medical growing end up going to be growers at some companies in Oregon. There's a lot of small mom and pop because they didn't really, the bar was low, and you could, it wasn't like some of the states where there's 12 guys splitting up the pie kind of thing.
Right.
So for us, we've kind of, our mission in a lot of these states is to try to bring both parties together, because, there's people that don't know a grower that need a dispensary. There's products that you can't make necessarily without having a licensed kitchen and different things. So
Yeah.
So my grassroots is definitely in the underground and grassroots, but we kind of, our events, we bring everybody together, dispensary and other home grows.
That's cool. And I like that about the way you guys got it going on in the States. See, here we are completely segregated, but that's because the legal side won't accept us. Their mission is to destroy us,
Right.
not to work with us.
Yeah, interesting.
Right? So that makes for a very different dynamic.
Yeah.
Right?
Very true. Yeah. I mean, and I guess it's interesting because I wouldn't say that, we have anything different than what you just described. I guess the difference is that, a dispensary owner, and it's hard because in Oregon, we're allowed to grow 4 as well. So everybody's got weed from themselves. Right. Dispensaries are kind of like, again, for people that don't have access or they want specialty products or really high grade stuff or something. But I don't know. I envision a world where we can all coexist, but you always have corporate interests that come in and squish some of the small guys, and that's hard to deal with as well. And then sometimes a company will hire an underground grower to run their stuff, and you've got bud tenders that are doing what they love and representing and getting a job in the cannabis industry. And so, it's a very multifaceted issue. I don't know that it's completely black and white.
Oh, that's for sure. There's a whole lot of shades of gray going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's complex to say the least. Absolutely,
Sure.
And the recruitment that went on here in Canada a handful of years prior to legalization, and then a handful of years since legalization. Full on recruitment. I mean, and I've seen it with my own eyes happen down there in the United States as well. There are headhunters that are within the grassroots community, and that's what they are. They're headhunters. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the corporate guys don't want to grow weed. So
if they can get you under that umbrella, then that's better for them, right?
Yeah, and it's tough because, as a small business owner, a lot of these smaller guys can't afford, they may be doing what they love, but they can't afford to give health care or different things. So it's like you said,
and an offer, you can't say no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I don't know, and it's hard for us too because like we really saw the medical community get attacked in Oregon big time, and the only silver lining of it all was that if I look back 10 years ago before legalization, the access for patients was a very small tunnel. You had to go through this program, and you had to get a grower, and you had to get a grower that was able to grow enough to sell illegally to give you a pound legally, or whatever, because you weren't paying for it. So it was one of those things where it was kind of embedded in the black market. And then now the difference though is that there's way more access, and now that we have the freedom to grow there's people that I can give my neighbor who needs medicine because I grow more than I can consume. So it's kind of it's hard to say one thing has killed the other because a lot of it is just transformed. And then there's a lot of things like RSO that just were really not available very, very widely in the underground, and it was very hard to even find anybody. And now, I mean, that's one of the most powerful parts of the cannabis plant as far as medicine goes, is RSO. So getting more access to that, letting more people just be able to run down the street and grab it. It's a yin and yang. I think everything has a shadow, right? And
yeah, absolutely. The same here in Canada. I mean, I diss legalization because to me it wasn't legalization at all. It was corporatization.
It was
What
smoking
they
mirrors.
gave us, what they gave us was corporatization. They bastardized the plant. They're using it chemically treated and irradiated and just
Huh.
bludgeoned to death. And then they throw it in a plastic container and sell it to you sight unseen. You can't look at it. You can't smell it. You can't anything. And it could be on the shelf for like a fucking year. And then they're going to sell it to you. And you know, it's like, oh, what the fuck is this? You know, I'm sorry.
Well, thank God you guys can grow your own. That's
and you know that came with it. Yeah, and that came with it. But I mean, I've been a legal patient here 20 years, right? And I've had my legal right to grow for 20 years in Canada. So I mean, we've had legalization of medical for 25 years. Here.
Yeah. So how did that work if you weren't able to grow for yourself? How would you get a grower?
You get a designated grower.
Okay.
You could assign a designated grower, and then you could assign to grow for you.
Yeah. Okay. So it's kind of like Oregon, where they were able to afford to grow enough weed and sell the excess, and that was the way they were able to give you some.
I could sign my license to somebody. So it's like, okay, I'm licensed to have this many plants. I'm not going to grow it. My friend here is going to grow it. So I'm assigning you my license to grow me my plants. So now that grower can grow for up to 3 other people plus as your own. So you can have 4 registered grows on one property.
Copy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the thing with us is, you know, a lot of the guys that started that, you know, medical community are getting kind of, you know, to the end. You know, some of the founders of the people that got that stuff in '89, you know,
we're all dying, man.
Well, I don't want to say that, but that's kind of what
we're all dropping like flies, man. Are you kidding? Yeah, all the original OGs. We're all getting old. You know, I've lost a lot of friends in the last 5 years.
Same. And I feel like I'm the young guy in the group, so I got to carry the torch and try to get the new generation to care. And you know, it's hard too, because once legalization happened, you know, in Oregon, you know, the activism kind of died down because people were like, "Hey, we won," you know, or kind of.
Yeah, no, but we didn't.
Yeah.
Right.
But
and
we
there's
didn't.
other where people are getting arrested right now and going to jail for an 1/8. You know.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
We haven't won. The battle's not over.
No. Yeah, that's right. They gave us a pacifier.
Yeah.
You know, and you're sucking on it really fucking good there, eh?
Yeah.
You know, like it's time to give up the pacifier and go back to, you know, hey, you remember the war? Like, you know.
Yeah, young people don't know. You know, they didn't grow up in that. It's hard. Well, I'm a good example. The guy that did the Hemp Fest in Oregon before me was ran out of the country by the feds, and they threatened to take his kids, and he had to kind of go into hiding. And then I was in 2015. It was legal, and I got permits, and it was fine. Yeah. But it just, you know, it took all that time.
Yeah, we had Hempfest here in Canada. It was a branch of the original Hempfest, and it was Hempfest Canada, and it was up here by me in Northern Ontario, and it existed for about 10 years. The last 3 years, I was on the team for helping them out there, and that was very cool. It was very cool to be a part of.
Yeah, we just did our 10th annual Oregon Hempfest with camping and everything, and our cups don't have camping, so I thought that was cool that yours did. It's almost like, you know, it's because ours it's just an award ceremony. It's usually about 7 hours, but our Hemp Fest is a camping 3-day event. Very similar. You can show up Thursday and set up, and then spend all weekend. And the camping community events are really a big deal.
Yeah, they're fun.
It's get together, as a community.
Yeah, you talk at the bonfire.
Yeah,
and exactly. It's a different conversation than what you have on fucking text.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm jealous that you get to have a bonfire. We have too many fire restrictions. We would love to have a bonfire.
We had a week of rain and it lifted the fucking fire ban.
Oh, amazing. Amazing. Lucky dog. You lucky dog.
Yeah, just like, I'm like, yeah. We got all this firewood and everything, and I thought we're not going to be able to have a fire. There's no way they're letting us have a fire. And then it rained for like a week. And I started getting nervous. It was like, fuck, it's got to dry out, right? And then the sun came out for like 3 days. It's all nice and dry. The fields are dry, but the forest is still wet. We can have a fire.
Awesome. Wow. Yeah, we always joke that usually, because ours is in July or June 20th, 21st, and we always joke that it was the Oregon Heat Fest.
Yeah,
it was so hot.
Yeah.
And then out of 10 years, this is the first year that it gave us a little rain, and it was we've never had rain like that, but this year we had some rain. So out of 10 years, I think that's not bad. Yeah, we dodged rain for 10 years.
I'm ready. We do a Stoners Olympics, so I figure there's going to be 1 year where it's going to be the mud games.
Yeah.
It's going to be raining, and it's going to be the mud games, you know, and our final race of the day is always a team, 2 teams. We split up everybody into 2 teams, and their team races. So the year of the mud games, we already have our final game. We're waiting for it to happen, and we're gonna add in a slip and slide.
There you go. There you go. That's all your insurance. That's right.
Great idea.
Well, it's funny too, because you think, you know, that weather would stop people, but the people that are really passionate about cannabis, they don't care. They'll come together if it's rain or shine or hot.
We have giant tents and everything, and we have a big stage and bands and stuff. And I mean, you're under the tents. You're fine.
Well, you know, speaking of passion, I'm interested. Do you think that the fact that you were a patient first fueled your passion for this?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was always a civil right. You know, I mean, it's tough because, you know, again, I came from the perspective of this is such a beneficial plant. I mean, you know, a good example is that when I first did the Hemp Fest in 2015, you know, it was just brand new, legal, and I had called my local sheriff because we were planning the event. And I kind of wanted to be, you know, hey, I don't want to hide from this guy. I want to just, you know,
that's the way
I'm doing, get my permits. Yeah. And I said, you know, hey, and he's like, are you going to serve alcohol? I'm like, no, we don't serve alcohol. We don't, it's just a marijuana event. And, you know, he kind of does one of these, you know, look around. He's like, okay, well, my son is pothead. And what my sheriff deputies, when they pull somebody over that's drinking, they're aggressive. They're driving too fast. They want to fight my officers. They want to fight me. If they're stoned, they're like driving too slow. They're super apologetic. They're like, I'm so sorry, you know. And so he kind of on the down low told me, hey, man, we're not worried about stoners. We're worried about alcoholics and drunk driving in this county.
Right.
So,
that's right. And our events are dry.
Yeah. It just reinforces that, you know, the plant, I feel like more cannabis for people makes better people, and that we'll have a better country and a better world. And one of the things, you know, when I first started doing this, I was working on a weed tour company, and we had gotten a call from a guy in Colombia. And he was like, you know, hey, talking to me about stuff, but he was like, you know, hey, once, and this is in 2015, but he says, you know, hey, once U.S. does it federally legal, it's really going to open up the world, because a lot of these countries will follow that lead. You know, like just random countries like Colombia potentially. Yeah. So, and some of them are doing it without America's lead, you know, but to me, it's cannabis for the world has been my vision, my dream.
Green wave, man.
That's right.
Yeah, that's the way.
Yeah, green
Hopefully
wave.
we'll get there in our lifetime.
You know, it was like prior to Canada legalizing, so probably 7 years ago, it looked like that green wave dream was really gaining some fucking momentum, man. Like there was talks going on all over Europe. I mean, everybody, it was in everybody's fucking legislature. You know, where somebody was doing something, another country just legalized this much, and some of them were ridiculously low fucking limits on THC, but we were all really hopeful. It was like, okay, it's a start. They're going to see, and then, you know, they will adjust, and, you know, it'll transform and that. Yeah. But everything seemed to come to like a sort of this acceptance of this, you know, 0.03, basically hemp,
Wow.
you know, and stuff. And it's like it just stopped.
Yeah, well, and you said a wave earlier, SteveO, and it's I agree, and I feel like we're kind of in a downward right now, and especially in America, we're actually seeing some legislation in different places to try to roll back legalization.
Yeah, that's scary, eh?
Yeah, it is, and I think it's probably a big pushback from the pharmaceutical and alcoholic, you know, or alcohol, not alcoholic, but
big
alcohol
lobby money.
Yeah, they have a lot of money and they're losing money. That people are buying less alcohol and more weed and less medicine, and so, you know, I think for us, it just reminds us that we gotta counteroffensive and get back on it and remind ourselves that, you know, the activism needs to continue. And like you, I really felt like, hey, some of these laws would be massaged to get better, but some of them are massaged to get worse due to lobbying and different, you know, influential people, because
we became complacent.
That's right.
Right. Yeah, and the politicians don't come to the grassroots community or the cannabis community and say, hey, how can we make this better for you? They meet with the guy that has a bunch of money and would like to give it to them, and maybe they could do some things for them. And so it's yeah, I mean, like you said, there's so many gray and black dark stuff, but also light, and it's important to do what we can.
Acceptance is at an all-time high. Nobody, like here in Canada, since legalization, I despise legalization, but since it happened, now we have, you know, I've got clients that come to me now they're in their mid 70s, and they're just like, okay, so you're telling me I can get rid of some of these pills?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, we can do that. You know, what do you take this for? This is for inflammation and pain. Well, fuck, we got CBD for that, darling. Like, I can help you with this, right? You know, and we get their prescriptions down, and they take, you know, some capsules instead with, you know, different doses of CBD, and then some of them are RSO and all of these different concoctions. And we got topicals and everything else that'll replace, you know, the steroid cream that you're putting on your body that is messing with you, whether you know it or not. And, you know, like, so we've got all of these things where there's acceptance. Nobody would even consider speaking to me about that stuff pre-legalization. They had to do with the doctor.
No, you're right.
Now the doctor says, yeah, well, you know, maybe it's okay. They're using it. And so now they're like, okay, well, the doctor says okay, and it's legal. So, okay, you know, so we're gaining acceptance. That's what legalization gave us.
Yeah. And I think, you know, trying to find the silver linings. I mean, you know, I always love, there's a joke that we have in the cannabis industry, but the joke is, you know, how do you make a small fortune in the cannabis industry? And the answer is you start with a big one. And I've seen a lot of companies that have just come in with all this money and think, oh, I'm just going to be rich off these stoners. And guess what? They don't have any money anymore. They're broke as shit. So there's, you know, it is a war, and there's battles that are won every day and lost. And you know, like you said, you know, one of the wars that we're winning is acceptance and getting more people to know that this is available. There's more access, but also educating people on, hey, you know, it's just like, I guess, you know, in Oregon, there's a lot of, you know, small craft businesses, and then there's Walmart or whatever, you know, so you can choose to support the businesses that you want that represent what you want. Right. And I think the more, you know, the more agency we take in that of saying, hey, I want to support, you know, somebody that does care, and a responsible small company or even a medium company that's family owned or whatever. And, you know, we had actually a really crazy thing. We've been dealing with Greenleaf Labs, who was the first woman-owned lab in Oregon. And they started from just a little teeny office when we started our events, and they were our lab that we used for all the cannabis testing to make sure there's no pesticides when the judges are smoking it. And basically, to make a long story short, after 10 years, they just shut their doors down. And it's mainly because Oregon's regulatory rules are so loose that other labs that compete with her are faking the numbers, just putting stuff to sell stuff. And here they are getting ran out because she doesn't want to, she's either a cheater or not. And she's not a cheater. So there's a lot of battlefronts. There's a lot of places that we need to stand up. And right now, Oregon has got to have some, because they moved to California and have offices there mainly because of the way the rules are for labs there keep everybody honest. And here they don't. So
it's like that in a lot of places. Lab results, they can be bought and paid for from anywhere.
Yeah. That's why we don't use that in judging. And I would assume you don't either.
No. I use my palate. I can taste that shit. I'll know what's in it. I've been smoking dope long, and I'll tell you what you grew this bitch in, okay?
No, that's how we do it. Taste, look, smell, high. We don't need a piece of paper with a number from a lab that tells us if it's good or not.
That's right. I can taste pesticides. You can taste all that stuff if you know weed.
Yeah.
Yep. So and all the samples that come in, they go through me first.
Well, and I think, and to that point on the labs, it's like the big issue we fight here in the dispensaries too is that everybody's like, what's the highest percentage of THC and what's the lowest cost? And you're just playing this weird game, and that's how they sell it to people when it's like,
not about the THC count though.
The entourage effect is
secondary.
Yes, right. Yeah, so it's about education and educating people that, hey, if they are going to go into the dispensary, don't fall into this trap. Don't believe the hype.
That's right.
Yeah. So
I like testing to find out, what's the cannabinoid profile.
Sure, terpene profile.
And tell me about the terpene profile. Tell me about everything like that in that plant, because now if I'm making a med for a cancer patient or for an Alzheimer's patient, there's certain cannabinoid profiles that I lean towards using in one remedy or another. And that's about the only benefit that I find for testing is telling me about the profile so that I can get the right combo going for the med that I'm trying.
Yeah, and it's great for trying to determine CBD, CBG, dominant plants. There's tons of things and why we need. And like I said too, with our judges, we need labs to screen that stuff, and every year we have somebody fail pesticides. And it's because some people just don't realize what they're putting on their plant, we need to know what we're ingesting, and that's important. So.
Yeah. If you're putting your stuff out for sale, it's important to have testing. If your stuff is on the market for sale, absolutely. It's important to show that, it doesn't have any carcinogens in it. It doesn't have any pesticides in it. Yes, I can taste it, but many people can't don't know what they're looking for. So that testing is important for the retail end of things. But testing, like I said, it can be bought. So it's only as good as how much money the person that is selling you the product has. If they are a multi-billion-dollar corporation, they can pay for whatever test result they want.
Exactly.
Well, and it can even be as more chill than that, because it could just be, we've seen that the salesman for the lab is trying to get sales, so he says, hey, put a little keef on that, and the company may not even know that they're doing cheating, because it was just a dude trying to get a sale. So at the end of the day, I've always thought there needs to be an unbiased like secret shopper where people we're just going in and testing stuff, from find something on the shelf randomly, take it out and go actually test and actually see what the lab said it was, and then do it 2 or 3 times and say, well, that
I
lab
like
is
it.
lying. They're lying a lot. So yeah.
I like it.
Right.
I like it.
Yeah.
I just saw the other day a flower. It was a pre-roll, not infused, no keef, no nothing, advertising it at 54%. And it's like, it's THCA, of course, but it's like,
Come on.
it's not right. And I guarantee that was the biggest sales of the day at that dispensary.
Come on.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that, so much of advertising and marketing can be based on just complete smoke and mirrors, and that's in probably every industry, right? But when you see it in the weed industry, there's a certain kind of sorrow, because you're like, man, you're violating the ethos of this plant. You're really just the karma of, I don't know. It's just, it bothers me when people do that. We've had people too, 100% terpene profile. Like, what are you talking about?
What does that even mean? What does that even fucking mean?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's got terps.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That's crazy.
It is.
Yeah.
It's nuts. I want to talk about the cups. Let's
Sure.
dive into how you got started with the Missouri Cup. But I want to do this uninterrupted. And I'm looking at the clock and I'm thinking it's medication time.
That's right. It is break time. While we take a few minutes to hear about a few of the other shows in our lineup here at the NOK Network.
Absolutely. We will be back with you all in about 4 minutes and 20 seconds. So you hang in there.
Are you a Northern Ontario resident searching for credible information on cannabis as a medicine? No Sir is here to help. Established in 2013, Northern Ontario Cannabis Education and Resources is here for you. No Sir Director Kim Cooper brings you 45 plus years experience utilizing cannabis as a medicine, and she is spreading that education across the North. Activism, referrals, resources, and more at No Sir. Don't be a jackass. Say no, sir, to propaganda with No Sir. Find them at www.nocer.ca.
Hey, hi, my name is John Mark, aka Sublimator Warrior, and I would like to welcome you to Smoke Signal in Tyndinaga.
One dab make your whole dome drip sweat. One dab make the homies all dip set. One dab, only really need one dab. One dab.
Smoke Signal is a medical dispensary where you can get all your products and needs.
Vaping a whole bunch. Might just start laying off the blunts. God. Ooey, ooey, gooey, that's a sticky dab. Sticky dab. Might just have to put this one on Instagram. Go and hold it in, feel it in your ribs.
So come and check us out in Tyndinaga. 55 Highway 49 in Tyndinaga. It's on the res, and we're open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week.
Advertising space available at NOK. Contact us for a rate sheet at knocknetwork.com.
Dudes and dudettes, enjoy the show, man.
And we are back from our medication session here on Peace, News, and Views.
We hope you'll tune in to some of the other podcasts that we have here on the NOK network, sponsoring down 7 days a week. Shout out to our sponsors, and check out I can't talk. Check out their social media pages and their websites and show them some love.
That's right.
Oh,
gotta check them out for sure.
I'm watching this mosquito flying around. It's like, you're going to come and get me, aren't you?
He's going to get you.
He is. He's going to come and get me. I'm watching him. It's like, come closer where I can get you. I got my fly sweater. I'm armed and dangerous over here.
I know.
Ready to go. Got the fly swatter. This guy is so cool. He's got so much going on, eh?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm impressed with the qualifications. I mean, this gentleman is definitely, he's done many cups. Yeah. And knows exactly what he's doing. That's for sure.
Yeah.
He's got the passion for it.
Yeah, 100%. I found out about what he was doing. It's like, oh, well, we got to talk to this guy. I'm glad he messaged me back, and I'm glad we were able to connect. Let's get back at it and get him back in and finish our conversation with one and only Nathan Marsh.
Welcome back.
Hey. Yeah, you got so much going on. Like I said at the start of the show, I've got a special place in my heart these days for Missouri. So how did you wind up getting over into Missouri?
So it's kind of an interesting story. We had gotten approached by a grower company that was over there in the United States. We had Emerald Cup, which was kind of the big cup. And when I first started doing it,
on a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. So I always looked up to them, like, wow, they're amazing. And but they weren't really in a position to kind of work in another state, or didn't want to, whatever the reasons, I'm not sure. But they had reached out to us and said, hey, we know you guys do a lot of cups, and we wanted to do a cup here, but we'd rather have somebody that's been doing it for 8 years or whatever it was at that point. And so we kind of came over there as the subject matter expert kind of thing. And then, we've been trying to just export some of the community. I mean, I think a big part of, what we do is before legalization, and during medical, and even before then, it wasn't very easy for cannabis lovers to get together in a group, other than friends or camping or, some kind of social gathering, small. But it wasn't, we couldn't publicly gather or even semi-publicly gather to celebrate our love of cannabis. And, the thing that I feel, and I'm sure this is probably happening at some extent in Canada as well, but everything in the U.S. feels very divisive. It's here to divide us. You're either red or blue. Pick a team, and
absolutely, you're on the wrong team. You can't talk to people from the other team. Oh my God, it's just a great story. And there are so many facets of that. So right. If it doesn't affect you on this one, then it will on the next.
Exactly. And then the other thing too is that, young people go to these kind of music concerts. Old people go to these kind of music, so there's all these things. And the magical thing about cannabis is it brings everyone together from all walks of life, all kinds of, you got a guy that loves heavy metal, and there's a guy that loves jazz, but they both love weed.
That's right. And we can come together over a doobie. Right?
Exactly. So for me, that was what was exciting in coming into Missouri, is that, we know how to bring the community together. We know how to do a legit cup where the sponsors don't win necessarily. I mean, they could, but they've got to earn it. All of our judging is blind judging and all that. So when I went over to Missouri, we started in the KC area, Kansas City. but the thing is, this is our third year now, and we're doing it in Rolla, and in Rolla, it's in between kind of St. Louis and Kansas City, and I think it's in a rural area, and it's at a cannabis lounge. So for us, we're trying to bring the whole state of Missouri together, not just Kansas City or not just St. Louis, because those are very huge, areas. And so that's really been our mission is, work with, the activists out there and try to bring everybody together and over the love of the plant. And then, we have separate competitions for homegrown medical versus dispensary weed. So they have their own lane. They don't compete with each other. But we can all hang out and enjoy the plant and share smokes. And we have Canna games, which is very similar to what you guys do. But it's just a community builder, and there's really nothing else like it. I don't think, there's no other thing that can bring so many people together over just, a uniting force of good vibes and green leaves.
That's it. And see, I love that. I love that. There's sort of, as you say, two separate lanes, for this. I love that you guys are incorporating that you're actually allowed to do that. The way that we've got shit set up here, we're not allowed to play together, you see, because one is supposed to exist.
Right? Well, you could do a home grow. I mean, if home grows people can grow weed legally, they can submit it to a cup, and so could a dispensary grower. I mean,
but we're not allowed to play. Like that
a bummer.
Would be it's not encouraged, it's discouraged, and it sucks, I mean, I think as a legacy cannabis consumer and patient, that's been spent my life fighting for legalization. And when we got it and we got what we got, I went, well, no, that's not what we said at all. No. And their, of course, claim to fame is, well, you asked for legalization, we gave you legalization. What else do you fucking want, right? But they didn't give us legalization, right? Anybody that didn't have millions of dollars couldn't play in their sandbox.
Yeah. Well, and it's like monetizing love, I mean, it should be free. But people are going to find a way to monetize it, and that goes directly against kind of what my business wouldn't survive if it was all free. But if I were to create the universe I want tomorrow, weed would be free for everybody, and there wouldn't be any charge, and money wouldn't even be involved.
Free is great, but that's a fucking pipe dream. Of course, there's got to be some sort of monetization attached to it. But I think as a legacy consumer, I think what we envision is, I've got my vegetable stand is at the end of my fucking driveway over there. I'm selling my tomatoes, and look, I got some nice squash here, and here we just harvested the purple kush. And why can't I sell that next to my tomatoes?
Trade or anything,
Right. And if you want to talk about age gates and fucking all of this kind of shit, well, you know what? The fucking kid at the corner store knows how to ask somebody for ID before he sells them a pack of smokes, right?
Right.
I mean, we have all of the safety nets are already in place for alcohol and cigarettes that can be easily transmitted over to cannabis.
Right. Well, and it's like the farmer's market model, you can go to a farmer's market and get small, produced products. And that should be the same with cannabis. We should be able to go to a farmer's market and, like you said, buy vegetables and buy some local green.
Here's my harvest. I present to you the harvest. Here they are. Choose your buds. Yeah. Exactly. I would love to do that. That is legalization to me.
Yeah.
And what they gave us is not that.
Yeah, in Oregon, we've got quite a few of these farmers. They're renegade farmer invite-only markets, but all they do is sell mushrooms, a bunch of different psilocybin mushrooms and weed and dabs, but it's not legal, so it's invite-only.
Yeah, we have underground as well still.
Underground
thrives.
Well, yeah, especially
in the age of legalization.
Well, and that's the other thing that everybody says, oh, man, we can't wait for federal legalization. And I'm like, well,
no, you don't. Yeah, you can.
That's a whole nother layer of tax. And even California, California's dealing with it where it's like, if it's 3 times the amount to go buy it in a store, but then you want to cry about the black market, well, there's a problem here. You're never going to create. And that's the other thing is, our Hemp Fest, for example, we've had the cost for a ticket for an all-day event to be $20, and we've never once raised the pricing, mainly because there's medical people where $20 is even a lot of money. We have to remember that not everybody has money to go and do a dispensary and spend $40 for their medicine. So, I think we got to be fighting on that battle too, of getting low-income patient access. And that's equitable for everybody. So yeah, I mean, there's a big pile of stuff we need to fight for.
Absolutely, 100%. So you wind up in Missouri, and now you've got the Growers Cup. So I mean, this is cool. How's it going there?
It's going great. I think last year we had 180 entries. This year we're hoping to, there or better. I think. For us, the first couple of years is obviously establishing ourselves. We had our first New Mexico Cannabis Cup in March, and that went really well. But, a lot of people even told us, well, we'll see how you do the first year and maybe we'll jump in the next, kind of thing. But, I think proving to people that your intent is pure, that you're not just there to as a money grab or anything, that we're actually there to spread the love and bring the community together and grow the community, because it's something that I think, again, the more that we bond together, and then at these events we can talk about this political action stuff and get people to try to say, hey, get involved and fight for what you believe in and what you think is fair. And it's crazy how just one person can make such a big difference in this community, just by giving and sharing, So. And during the cup in December, I pretty much dubbed myself Canna Claus, and I just pass out pounds of weed. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, well, it looks like Kim got booted, but we'll continue. I tell you, it's good to see that someone like yourself continues this passion, and you going from state to state. That shows a lot right there as well.
Yeah. No, it's I guess the biggest thing for us is trying to manage it, because, being in Missouri, New Mexico, California, and Oregon, we did 5 events this year, which is more than one every quarter. It's really, it's a lot of work. I'm excited about it too, but it's like thinking about trying to do another state. We did Arizona for a little while, but you kind of have to choose your battles, and
it's a ton of fucking work, man. I mean, this is not an easy task. I had 1/3 of the entries that you have. But I'm like a one-person show. I'm doing it all from advertising to organizing to creation to all of it. It's me. There is no team. I am the team.
Well, you always got to have a leader, but you can also have some club soldiers, Well,
I have foot soldiers that I recruit. Okay, I need jobs. Come here.
Like SteveO,
Yeah. I have foot soldiers that I recruit. I have, young people in my area. And it's like, come on. You want a ticket to the event? Okay, here's what I need. Come and work.
We actually have over 300 entries in our Oregon Growers Cup.
Wow.
So it gets very, there's a lot of things that you're like, okay, this is what happens when the wheels fall off, and we better fix that.
Yeah, you need a team for that. for sure.
Well, and even the judges, you got to break it out into panels, and you can't.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So
That's a lot. Like how long do you have to
well,
judge?
the panels are separated, but in Oregon, it depends on the state. But in Oregon, it's kind of a little bit messed up because there's really only one. You can only do a cup the right way in December, the first week or the second week. And the reason why is otherwise it's not a harvest cup for that year.
Right.
Because outdoor happens Croptober.
Yeah.
November, they're curing and testing.
Yeah.
You can't really do an event on Thanksgiving. That's too soon. And then you get into December, and pretty soon you got Christmas. So if you're going to do a cannabis cup, and that's kind of why the Emerald Cup was always the first or second week of December, and we would always pick whatever week they weren't. So if they picked the first week, we'd go the second. So for that, they only have about a week, the panels. So depending on yeah, but that's why we can't have people who are judging edibles also judge dabs, or it has to be separated. And then we also we've had to cull it down and have a judges meeting to try to really kind of get it down to the cream, because you don't want them spending a week trying to fight through mids,
right?
To decide. And really, there's some stuff where you're like, because if it's taste, look, smell, and high, you pretty soon you're like, okay, well, this stuff isn't just going to win because it doesn't smell good or taste good, and it's kind of got to have all those things going on. So, we've had discussion involved. What's that?
I'm sorry. How long do you give your judges to judge?
We said that a week. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah. They have a week.
I missed that. Sorry.
Which would be a lot better to give them 30 days, like you said. But for us, we would be in the next year. We'd be in 2026 voting for 2025 weed.
Right.
So it's kind of I mean, there's different variables, and then some states, just don't have outdoor. Most states don't have outdoor.
Right.
There's. We were surprised actually. New Mexico has more outdoor than Missouri. Missouri barely has any. But New Mexico has quite a bit of outdoor, and Arizona has zero outdoor. So, nobody's growing outdoors there.
Well, it's just they'd burn.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right.
They'd burn. I mean, the temperatures and the heat that they have there, you couldn't. I don't think there's a strain that is conducive to that. Deal with it.
Yeah. Well, and even in northern Oregon, where Portland is, it's really difficult because of the amount of rain we get typically in October. It just molds it out. You can get it there, but then at the end, you've got to
can't finish anything.
Yeah, you can't finish. So, and there's two people to do, and they find workarounds, but they're fighting the mold the whole time. And
we have the same problem here, but we have a very short growing season, right? Ours is cold. It's a wet cold that comes. So we've got the damp and everything. That the same kind of a climate, but at nighttime our temperatures are going below freezing.
Wow.
So now you've got the ice crystals and everything. And
that's rough.
So nothing will finish. So you can't grow it sativa where I live. They won't finish.
We've got the coast is another interesting one where we found certain strains will grow well over there, but even sometimes you can find a strain that seems to do well in that climate, but sometimes the climate's just not good for growing at all. So like you're saying.
So there's a lot of indoor that goes on with the shorter growing season that we have. But some of the western provinces in Canada have a much longer growing season, province like BC. And they grow some kick-ass fucking weed.
I love sun-grown. I mean, I love it all, but I do love some sun-grown. It's something more natural about it, and feels a little bit more more natural. I prefer it as well. I'm a big outdoor lover as well, for sure. So you separate your weed into categories, whether it's indoor or outdoor? We do. We don't do the sativa indica game. I mean, there's different reasons why, but yeah, really in Oregon, we have 3 categories: mixed light greenhouse, and then outdoor, indoor. So full sun grown, or indoor. And then we've got, some of these guys that have, greenhouses with heated floors and lights, and they're huge industrial greenhouse. So it's kind of mixed light. They use the sun when they get the sun, but they can do different, but they can also do a whole turn in the winter, when nobody else is able to. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't see that too often. That's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. No, it's very expensive. These facilities cost a lot of money, and some of those people are involved in that joke I said earlier.
Yeah.
About the small.
They think they're going to, they see dollar signs. The investment is going to be worth it. Well, you know what? Yeah. Only, I mean, weed was a money-making enterprise at one time. Sure. Only the government got involved.
Right.
And only the government can fuck up selling weed.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's, and plans, I think one of the issues with Oregon is that we didn't have a residency requirement when we started, and we were, I think, the second or third. So Denver, Colorado, so we were the third state to legalize, but the first state, I think, that didn't have a residency requirement. So all the people from really almost across the world were moving to Oregon.
Come here and sell weed.
Yeah. So, and it's been tough because you have some of these people that come in, then they lose money, and then there's a fire sale, and then they're selling their cannabis at such little rates that the little guy can't compete and make a living because the corporation.
That's how we wound up with $30 ounces.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're seeing here in Canada, right?
Oh yeah, race to the bottom is what they said.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now nobody's making fucking money. Congratulations, you broke the market.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and that's why we sell shovels to the gold miners. We don't mine gold ourselves. It's too competitive.
That's it. That's right. That's exactly fucking right. Because you know what? These people are always going to grow. So you know what? I can sell them the pots that they're going to need to grow it.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep. And that's where you got to get in. That's the only place that is viable at this point.
Yep. Agreed.
Right? Yeah. 100%. You're a fucking cool dude. I like you. I gotta say.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Great.
We're trying. Being a full year, all year event company with employees in an office, and it's a lot. It's stressful sometimes because when I started, I was just I had a job. I was actually running a call center for Nintendo, their customer service department, which is why I was in Seattle a lot too. But yeah, it's a lot of work and effort, and trying to afford to make sure everybody gets paid and everything gets going and everybody has a good time. But at the end of the day, the reward of just having such a good event and feeling now too, doing this for 10 years, it's pretty good. It's nice. It feels good.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. 100%. It's been a journey for anybody that's been traveling the road,
Yeah.
And watching the evolution,
Wow.
Which is why I named this show about cannabis evolution. And people are like, well, cannabis isn't evolving. I said, oh, yes, it absolutely is. Maybe the plant itself is not, but acceptance and integration, reintegration into our lives. There's absolutely an evolution that is taking place, and just being a part of that and watching that over the last several decades, it's been a trip, right?
It is, and frequently changing regularly. That's what I like to say. It's always frequently changing regularly.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one. Final thoughts and questions, Steve-O?
Well, I tell you, I'm impressed. It's not often that we get someone with the qualifications that you have as well, to give us this good advice. Listening to you and the passion that you have, it really invigorates me. And I know that it reignites it in a lot of other people too. I'm sure you're a great example to the people around you as well.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I try. And I really try to just honor the people that I looked up to that started this journey that are, some of them are, not even getting out of the house anymore, but they were, they did all this hard work and activism. And a lot of times it almost feels like they knocked the wall down and then I just walked right through, because of all the work and effort that they did. And even people, like you, Kim, that have, put your heart and soul in this for, 30, 40 years or whatever. So, it's crazy. Exactly. And so to me, I'm honored to be able to carry a torch at all. But I definitely try to remember that I wasn't the one that lit the fire earlier. Right. And really, we're all lamplighters. We need to just be spreading the light and continue to that. And then, be an example for others that come when I retire, hopefully there's people that will come and see that what we've been passionate about and want to carry that torch as well. So
absolutely. We are all just but a cog, a spoke in a very large wheel.
Very true.
And it takes many of us to keep that wheel in balance and moving down the road.
It's true.
All of us working in conjunction. When is the cup coming? When is the next cup?
Yeah, so we've got 3 cups coming actually before the end of the year, which is kind of crazy. But the Missouri Cup, I'm actually going there tomorrow from Portland or from Oregon here. But that is on August 23rd is when the Missouri Cup is at. You can see that at MissouriGrowersCup.com. And we have Dizzy Wright, who's going to be doing our musical guest. He's on his 10-year tour that he's been doing he's been a musician for a long time and going to celebrate at our cup. And it's Doobie's Cannabis Lounge, which is a really awesome cannabis lounge in Rolla, Missouri. And and then the Coachella Legacy Cup is on October 18th. And then that'll be in Desert Hot Springs at the Mary Pickford Estate, which is, I'm excited because we were able to rent. Mary Pickford was one of the first women actresses in Hollywood and one of the first millionaire actresses. And we're doing the cup at her big mansion and estate.
Nice.
Really, really awesome. I feel honored to be able to do that. And then our 11th annual Oregon Growers Cup will be happening in first week of December. I think December 9th or 7th. But you can go to OregonGrowersCup.com to see all that, and CoachellaLegacyCup.com.
Nice. That's freaking cool. That is very, very, very cool. I love talking to you. And I could probably talk to you for a whole lot longer, but time has ticked away on us. Please come back and see us again.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, keep at it. I like that you guys have been relentlessly relentless, and just keep going. Don't stop.
Awesome. I will be in touch to book you back again. But right now, I see we reached the portion of the show we like to call shout out time. It's time to cue the chickens. Quack, 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 quack. Let everybody know how to get a hold of you. Plug the websites again, even if you said them 1,000 times. Say them again.
Actually, how about better? I'll do the website and Instagram. So Instagram is the same, which is our main thing, but like OregonGrowersCup.com or on Instagram, New Mexico Legacy Cup on Instagram or .com, and then also Missouri Growers Cup at .com, and it's also on Instagram, and then Coachella Legacy Cup. Man, I'm gonna have to write all these down just to remember this stuff. And then lastly, Oregon Hemp Fest. .org to change it up, And also Oregon Hemp Fest is on Instagram as well. And if you do have a moment, I would say go to our Instagram, because for the Hemp Fest, we had this old activist dude who's been doing this forever, and he came back out. It's been a long time, but he had 100-person vaporizer with 100 hoses, and everybody got on and did it, and we filmed it. And it's a really cool reel if you want to check it out on our Instagram. But you can see 100 people hitting this huge vaporizer.
Would be epic.
Really cool.
We have a guy that's bringing a 7 hose.
Nice. There you go. Yeah,
So
I was blown away. I didn't know this even existed till this year, and this guy brought it, and I was like, wow.
Yeah,
and now I'm like, now I'm a fanboy, and I'm following him all the time, and I want him to be everywhere.
Cool. They're cool, right? They're cool. Yeah, I've been using one for several years. This guy has been part of our community, and he has a 7 hose. He's called the Sublimator Warrior, and he takes it around to events and stuff.
I love it.
Yeah, it's very cool. Very cool stuff. I love it.
Cool.
Yeah. You got the chorus, do like this, and everybody's fucking hacking up along, right? And he's directing his chorus.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. 100 people. Wow.
100 people. That would be something to be a part of, man.
Yeah.
That would be epic.
Filming everybody hacking, and there was just, it was good. People overdoing it, not knowing, because it's your first time on the 100 one. You don't know what you're doing.
You don't know. And then you're like, oh my god!
It's called trial by coughing. So.
Too bad Guinness doesn't. They don't recognize cannabis awards.
Yeah, they should.
That's right.
They should for that. 100 people. Wow.
Yeah, probably would go in the Guinness Book of Records, actually, but.
Yeah,
and then come out with 120. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Freaking epic stuff. I look forward to having you back again and letting us know how some of these most recent events went. We'll be in touch to book you back on.
Awesome, love it.
It'd be amazing. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Peace News and Views,
Thanks,
everybody. And happy 7/10. Tomorrow is 7/10, and we are celebrating 7/10 by opening the gates to the 7/10 Stoner Games. We'll see you all here at the 7/10 Stoner Games this weekend at Kissed Acres, and we'll be live streaming the event on Saturday. The games will be live streamed on NOKnetwork.com, as well as all of our social media sites in their entirety, so you can tune in. Hobbies Puppets will be in for a 90-minute interlude. Here's our halftime show, and Hobbies Puppets will be in with the puppets and some entertainment to entertain everybody during our intermission. And then we'll be back for the second half of Stoner Games. And at the conclusion of the Stoner Games Olympics, we will do the awards ceremony and let everybody know who won first place in the Stoner Games Cup 2025. So exciting weekend, and I'll see y'all out here online, intermittently, live on location from Kissed Acres. SteveO, take us home.
Okie dokie. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. And we'll see you again next week with another very special guest here on Peace News and Views on the NOK Network. Good night, everyone. Peace.
Peace.
Let's all go into pot, whether we like it or not. Best I can tell, the world's gone to hell, and we're sure gonna miss it a lot. All the whiskey in Lynchburg, Tennessee, just couldn't fill the spot. I got $100 bill, man, you can keep your pills, man. It's all going to pot. It's all going to pot, whether we like it or not. Best I can tell, the world's gone to hell, and we're sure gonna miss it a lot. All the whiskey in Lynchburg, Tennessee, just couldn't fill the spot. I got $100 bill, man, you can keep your pills, man. It's all going to pot. I got $100 bill, man, you can keep your pills, man. It's all going to pot.